morning. Good morning and welcome, everyone. We're so glad to have you. My name is Julie Byerly, and I have the honor and privilege of being the president here at Geisinger College of Health Sciences and the dean of Geisinger Commonwealth School of Medicine. And we're so grateful that each of you chose to join us this morning, and we're so grateful that the mayor and her team selected this as the site for this year's remarks. I think one of the hardest things about being a leader in the public or community space is anticipating the ripple effects of your decisions years down the line. And that makes me think of the founders of our medical school who came together as a group of dedicated community members more than 20 years ago, envisioning a future that looked like this. So thanks to their hard work and the support of Geisinger that invests over $115 million a year into academic activities through the footprint, our dreams of producing a physician workforce for this region are being fulfilled. Here at Geisinger, we have over 1,000 physician alums already. You hopefully saw in the news that another 115 of them learned their residency training slots just last Friday. So the ripple effects, thank you, it is joyous. The ripple effects of the decisions of leaders a couple decades ago are just beginning to snowball and pay off and build this vibrant academic medicine community in this space. So I am excited today about dreaming of the future and bringing together leaders in our community to envision decades of ripple effects of the positive actions that we take today. So now it's my pleasure to welcome to the podium one of our leaders who is dedicated to community improvement, and that's Jerry Mushno. Jerry is the board chair of the Scranton Chamber. He's an attorney and also a pharmacist, and very appropriately teaches pharmacy law at Wilkes and at Jefferson. And we appreciate his commitment to the health professions. But as an alum of the University of Scranton and a dedicated community member involved in all kinds of things, I invite him here to introduce our mayor.
Good morning. Mayor Paige Cognetti is the 36th mayor of the city of Scranton, the 6th largest municipality in the Commonwealth. The hallmarks of her administration have been stimulating the city's ongoing economic growth, upgrading outdated infrastructure, ensuring public safety, building government transparency and efficiency, and improving residents' overall quality of life. She has overcome the challenges of leading during a global pandemic and shedding Scranton's status as a distressed city. So let's hear directly from the mayor on the state of the city, where the city's been and where it's going. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce Mayor Paige Cognetti.
Kara, you'll have to tell me if I did that right with the mic. Thank you, everyone, so very, very much for being here. This is a really cool thing for me to see from this vantage point, to see all of you. What a great cross-section of folks we have in this room, from our small business leaders to our larger business leaders, Geisinger, our universities, our bigger institutions, our healthcare systems that we need so very badly in Scranton and northeastern Pennsylvania. Our city team, who I will acknowledge in a moment, other political leaders, I'll also acknowledge all of you. But it's just really wonderful to be in this room with all of you as we walk through some of the achievements that we have made and the work that we have left to do. The work will always be ongoing. There is never an end to it, but as long as we continue to strengthen our partnerships of the organizations, the people in rooms like this, I know that we're going to continue to make progress. Dr. Byerly, thank you for having us here. 1,000+ alumni is an incredible achievement, so thank you very much for sharing that. Jerry, thank you for your leadership, and Bob Durkin couldn't be here today, but I so much appreciate his partnership. The Chamber is a great institution that helps us be able to see around the corners as government. We have to work together to make sure that we understand all the factors as we go into those difficult decisions. All of your organizations play a huge role. As most of you in this room know, our household has 3 adults. My mom is here, Linda. Most of you know Linda, Gigi, as we call her. So our household, there's 3 adults and 2 kids. It's me on the government side, my husband who owns a small business, and then mom who takes care of the most important thing, which is our kids. So that grounds us every single day in that same way that when I talk about partnerships with the Chamber, Scranton Tomorrow, hello, Leslie and Liz, we have to all work together across sectors at all times in order to achieve our goals. I also want to make sure that as we go into this presentation, I am giving due credit to the administrations and the mayors before me. Mayor Chris Doherty, Mayor Evans are here. Without Chris's leadership and vision about downtown living, without his maintenance and upgrade of our parks, what you see here today would not be possible. With Wayne Evans, we are still waiting for your photo so that we can put it in the hallway. That's a side note for just you. But without you, without your steady hand in a time of turbulence, we would not have been able to start our work. We also didn't know our work would start with the pandemic, but we got through it again with so many of the folks in this room and beyond these walls. Today is our chance to summarize the work and show you what we are planning to do. That is our work. It is very much we, and that starts with our team. We have 520 employees at the City of Scranton. Our senior leadership are here. We have Eileen Cipriani, our business administrator, Police Chief Tom Carroll, Deputy Chief Lafferty, Fire Chief John Judge, Deputy Dan Hallowich, Sherry Frabel runs our economic and community development, Kaylee Polkulski with our HR, Scott Gassemeyer running our Department of Public Works. The hardest job in America is running public works in any city. Stephen Hines is our Parks Director, Jack Rieger, the IT Director, always in the back, but very much making all of these things happen, not just what you see today, but every single bit of what goes on in the city, IT touches, and he and his team do a great job. Finance Director Matt Dominus, lots of you have probably work with Matt at some point, whether it was with Pell or with DCED. Matt has been an absolutely essential part of our administration, as has our Treasurer Adam Joyce. And I think that this is last but not least, 2. Solicitor Jessica Eskrat and Code Enforcement Director Tom Oleski. The 2 of you have been gutting it out for a really long time at the city, and we're going to celebrate your achievements here today. All right, did I get everything? Okay. We also have with us today our Council President, Jerry Smurl, and Councilman Bill King, who was president previously. I've gotten the honor to work with both of them in these years. Previous to that, now State Rep Kyle Donahue, and previous to that, now Commissioner Bill Gahan, who is here as well. We have, the city is a we, not just the city team, but also city council. Without a council that works together and solves problems together, we cannot move forward. So I appreciate all the partnership. We don't always agree. It could be a show sometimes, and that's okay. But we always in these 5 years have gotten to enough of an agreement that we've been able to move forward, and I look forward to continuing that. We also have City Controller John Murray with us and Tax Collector Kathy Wexler. There are so many elements of a city that I don't think people realize, but you guys are integral parts of that, so I thank you for your leadership as well. And last but not least on the thank yous, the people who really do this. Our city team, Allie Pliska, Isaiah Watson, Chris Hughes, Michaela Bennett, Pete Gentile is over there waiting to dim the lights. From the Chamber, Kelsey Hine, Ryan Buchanan, and then Kara Badurka. Got it. Kara, thank you from Geisinger. Thank you for all the work that goes into this. A lot of us, we travel to these events, and we cannot forget how much it takes going into that. So thanks especially to the Geisinger School of Medicine staff for helping us today. Before we get into the presentation, I wanted to share, the media, guys, do not worry. There's no classified information that I'm going to share here. So you don't have to worry with your editors of where, what you should publish or not. This is all free to use. So it is Women's History Month and also Read Across America Week month. My favorite thing is to go read to kids. And we have made real progress. I mean this, we have made real progress in terms of people understanding that a woman can be mayor. So 5 years ago, 5 years ago, I would go into a school and the kids would go, "It's a girl mayor." And there was one particular one, it just melts my heart every time, girl mayor. It was so sweet. 5 years later, though, I can say I don't get girl mayor anymore. They know that there's going to be someone that walks in the room. It might be a boy, it might be a girl, who knows? And that person is the mayor, and we go for the conversation. But I walk into McNichols Plaza a couple weeks back. This first grader comes up to me and says, "You look a lot older than your picture." And I said, "Well, I probably do. It's been a long 5 years." So I love that. I love that, though, because it shows that we really are making progress. Those little things really do matter, right? The perception of our kids matters. And if in all of this, in any of our organizations, right, any of the work that we all do, we're having a positive influence on a kid and how they perceive their future and their future path, I think we're on target. So everything that we do as a city is based on fairness. It's what my parents instilled in me growing up, and it's what we base our decisions on every day in the city. When I hear about government waste, when I hear about folks that are doing things for their friends and not the greater good, it makes me very, very angry, and it drives me to do what we've been doing at the city to make sure that we're based on fairness. It's what keeps me going, and fighting for fairness is just so important always, but it's especially important now. I look across this room, so many of us are working together on issues like hunger and housing, and even right now with education, we're trying to work on making sure our kids still have the support they need for their IEPs or for learning the English language. So the partnerships in this room are so, so important to that element of fairness, to that goal of fairness that we all share. So working together and running an efficient city government will help unlock the future that we all see, a thriving, growing city that is a destination for families and residents and students. We met a couple recently at the library. They're data analysts. They moved here after, because they're data nerds, analyzing the whole country, looking for a small city to move to raise their children. And they chose Scranton, Pennsylvania. So if that doesn't tell you that we are on track, I am not sure what does. They moved from Spokane, Washington to Scranton, Pennsylvania for a whole host of reasons. Maybe they can give the presentation soon and go through their analysis. But that gave me a lot of encouragement that we truly are on the right track. People are coming here, even folks who don't have a tie here. Folks are coming back here from other places. They're moving home, and they're also staying. One of the reasons we're so excited to be here at the medical schools, because there's so many folks that are homegrown here, went away to maybe undergrad and medical school in part, came back here to do their residency, came back here for medical school, and are staying. So we are doing it. We are doing it piece by piece, institution by institution, day by day. And we're very, very proud of that. So we are at the city working really hard to make sure that fairness is always there. And with that starts responsible government. So Pete, if you want to cue those lights, we'll dim it a little. And we'll kind of go through some of our fun stuff. And because you guys are all nerds, I know that you enjoy this too. We have so much to boast when it comes to responsible government and fiscal stewardship. Last year, 2024, we won the DCED, that's the State Department of Community Economic Development. We won their Fiscal Management Award for the city, which to some of you in this room who have been gutting it out you know, folks like Jerry Cross said he never thought that he would see this happen. And again, this is not just in the last 5 years. This is hard decisions, Mayor Doherty, by Mayor Evans, by Dave Bolzoni, folks that helped pave the way to give us the reins to be able to do this. We have said no a lot. We have made tough decisions, but we have achieved an investment grade credit rating of BBB+. We have already saved $2.2 million on bond refinancing just in the last 11 months since we got that upgrade. We have no tax anticipation note since 2022. That means we don't borrow at the beginning of the year in order to pay ourselves back once the real estate tax receipts comes in. Super nerdy, but it really is meaningful. Our credit rating agency loves this. We've been out of distress status since January of 2022. We all love that photo of Rick Folello from DCD giving the big cheers of that one, and we'll treasure that picture forever. That's a big achievement. We've earned $6.6 million in interest. I think I'm supposed to go to the slides. No, I'm not great at that. There we go. So yeah, we've earned $6.6 million in interest, and again, that $2.25 million by refinancing the bonds. So it's just been kind of win after win. This slide, for any of you who've known me since my school board days, know that the procurement piece is so important. Jessica Eskra and Elaine Cipriani have done an incredible job shepherding through an upgraded process and the achievement of 136 RFPs. Most of you in this room either fill them out or put them out yourselves. You know that this is a lot. We not only do we put these out, but we actually put them to work. We put our grants to work, and we're excited. This is also the first of a handful of technology slides that you all will see. We have implemented a lot of technology into the city so that we can track our progress. We have the data to show what we're doing, not just to show the community, but also looking inward internally to be able to hold ourselves accountable and to celebrate our wins, right? We can celebrate these wins because we have the data to track them, and that's great for our teams as well. This is an Eileen Cipriani and Matt Domina's special, our capital investment planning. So capital budget has always been something that the city does. Last couple of years, we've worked very hard to make this a much more real living document and its own account that we fund. So again, these little things, but they really add up to a lot more transparency, accountability. These expenditures are easier for us to track, easier for council to track, easier for our communication as we look at the budget every single year. That's super, super important. And then as we are looking down the line, as we right now, 2025, look down the next years, as things change, as you know, a federal grant we were hoping for, actually had for an emergency operations center, it disappeared overnight 10 days ago. Now we have a document that's going to help us figure that out better and more quickly to make sure that we can still achieve that. So the capital investment piece is super important. And the OPEB, I think I wanted to make sure I said too, that's retiree healthcare benefits, things that you don't want to think about when you are on a, say, mayoral transition and you're going through the numbers and you realize that at the time you have $236 million of liabilities out there just hanging with absolutely no accountability, you panic and you follow the advice of Pell and others and you start to chip away at it. We have an OPEB account now that we fund through our capital budget or through our operating budget. It's $200,000-$300,000 a year. It's a drop in the bucket, but it's there. It helps us all be able to forecast out what our needs are going to be, forecast out what we need to do in terms of the rest of our revenue mix. And it's just another tool that it's nerdy, but we're super proud of. Public safety. So we have gotten to invest, or the fine gentlemen in front of me have gotten to invest in some really cool things in the last years. And that also has included a lot of budgeting, a lot of grant writing, a lot of plan Bs and plan Cs, given what may or may not happen with those grants or that funding. So we've got some great upgrades in the fire department. We've got the engine actually that I drive by on my way home every night has a really cool new truck. We have the rescue truck that's down on Wyoming that is amazing. So Chief Judge has done a great job of making sure that we get these trucks. The trucks are often that we purchase are made in Columbus, Ohio. So they're made right here in our region, which is really cool. We've also put a lot of money and thought into training. So we make sure that we are training everyone in public safety all across the board. And that's just not police and fire. That's also making sure that our public works employees are trained in safety and code enforcement. Just realized we should have had our code enforcement fleet up here. When we got into office, our code enforcement inspectors drove their own cars. They didn't have any sort of identifying clothing or badges on. So we have over time been able to change that. We now have a code enforcement fleet of all electric vehicles. Everybody's got cool gear, everybody's got a tablet, they're very official. It's much safer for them as well as more visible to the community. Our police vehicles, I think they look amazing. When I see the older ones now, I kind of cringe. No offense to if anybody here did that. They're great. It's just these are better. And these look really great. And these wraps were done locally up in Lakely or something. But the police fleet is looking great, and we've been able to do it working with council, working with the controller, making sure that we're optimizing the contracts for the fleets, whether leasing or buying. And the technology in these cars and throughout police is really something. So we're going to go through a couple slides so you guys can get an inside peek into what the Scranton Police Department does now. So this is tracking the cars now. So Congressman Matt Cartwright was able to get us $3.5 million to upgrade our Axon body cam technology. But with that, it's not just the body cams. It also helps us to have better tracking of the cars themselves. This body cam, the upgraded one, the HQ can communicate with the officers in real time through their body cam. So it's not just recording, it's actually a real-time communication. We got to see this in real time at the St. Patrick's Day parade down at the HQ. We invited some of the media to come look at that. So it's, again, officer safety, citizen safety, communication in real time so that people can know what is around them, what the situation is. It's just, it's really incredible, and it wouldn't be possible without grant funding. This is very expensive. It'd be difficult for a city to fund this with local taxpayer dollars only. This is a little peek at our street cams. It's always fun to go see the different cameras down at PD to see what's going on in the city. So we've continued to have a great partnership between the IT department, police department, to make sure that we've got cameras, kind of eyes in the sky where we need to. This is our new license plate reader system. Again, great for catching criminals. I always say if you're gonna commit a crime, A, please don't, but B, don't do it in Scranton because we will arrest you. This is another tool that we're able to use to do just that. And then for our public works department, we have been working for years with a company called Rubicon that has now been purchased by a company called Routeware. We've finally got our routes mapped for our refuse collection. We'll soon be able to do that for our plowing. We'll working on upgrading to street sweeping. We have some capital costs to figure out in terms of street sweepers, but we really are excited about this. It makes the routes much more efficient. It makes it more efficient for our drivers as well. We've been doing lots of paving and those projects. I know it is endless. It is endless. We are always trying to catch up, but there's some other pieces that we'll go over about how we're addressing that. And then our street team, our traffic maintenance, I think just broadly speaking on the safety piece, road safety is very, very important to us. So our traffic maintenance team went from, I think it was 3 when we got in, now we have 6. We also have started to work with a couple of contractors on street signs and crosswalks. And our city engineer, Tom Riley, and his team have been incredible partners for everything from where should a crosswalk go to how are we going to fix the stormwater problem with all this water coming off the turnpike down West Mountain. So Tom, you've been incredible. You guys, it's like, I don't know, it's like you guys work for us, and I don't know how you have other clients, so we appreciate you very much. But the traffic piece is really important. And again, grant funding is so important, so important. We've been able to stack lots of grants together, and we've got to make sure that we keep pushing that. There's some federal grants that we were shooting for that are unlikely to happen at this point. So we're going to ask that you bear with us as we try to get through some of these intersections that we were planning. But the road safety piece is so important. And it's not just important from a safety, it's important to all of us for economic development, right? People want to feel safe. We got our cool signs that we make in-house. So on that neighborhood piece, and I'll just cut to the signs. So we've done over 4,500 street signs in the city. We have more to do. We'll always have more to do. We'll be rolling, but it's been really cool to see them pop up and then pour Scott when I see when that's not done. I text him, and that's not nice of me, but I just can't help it, but he takes it well. We are really excited about that. It's, again, public safety really important so that emergency vehicles know where they're going, especially if you have a new driver on an EMS vehicle, for example. So the street signs piece, and then pave cut. So we have spent, I think, we've spent $9 million on paving so far, but the pave cut system, we have worked with Esri, one of our technology partners, worked with our engineers, worked with the awesome project management team at the city to really revamp how we do this so that we can hold the utilities and ourselves accountable anytime somebody's cutting into the street. So that's going to be improved. You're going to start to see these colorful markings. They're kind of a rainbow of fruit flavors. They're going to start to see those in the ground so that if, say, Scott's team goes to a pave cut, it'll be blue for water, and they'll know who to call much more quickly. So little things, again, like kind of simple, but they're really going to make a difference. In terms of our neighborhoods, so we have been holding the pop-up city halls since the very, very beginning. We did that during COVID because it was something we could do outside, set up tents, bring City Hall to your neighborhood. And we do also sprucing up Scranton. Isaiah does a great job leading up that. This is a cleanup we did just a couple of weeks ago near Jackson Street Skate Park. So this is just, I think, from 2024, I want to say, maybe 22, 24. But we're trying to get everywhere in the city with these pop-ups and with the sprucing up Scrantons. It's a great way that anybody can come. We provide all the materials to come and help do a neighborhood cleanup. The pop-ups we also do once a month now all throughout the year at Weston Field. So people can come with any questions. The Wright Center's often there. The library is there. We have great partnerships with folks who come and want to give information to residents who might have questions. And it's been kind of a hallmark, I would say, of our communication with city residents. Everyone's favorite would be demolishing structures. This one, the video is from the very first big one. Barb O'Malley may or may not have had mimosas available to all the passersby. And it was a great start to what has continued to be a successful process. It does take a long time. I know there are times where folks are, and for good reason, anxious for a structure to come down. That's where the law department comes in. But, America has private property rights. We hold those dear, so it's important that we go through those processes. But it's been a great team effort and another example of technology really being critical to how we're able to do this. If we can't track the process, then we are, ourselves put ourselves in jeopardy from a legal standpoint. This other one on the left is another favorite of mine. I was going back all the way to 2020 on these. This was the first Ken Bond property that we took down. So we're really, really making some headway there. Our rental registration process as well has really amped up. That was, I think, 2022 we started to really get a handle on that and hold landlords more accountable. It is still very difficult. Every mayor I speak to has this problem. You have the LLC hidden within the LLC that's in New Jersey, but actually Bermuda. I mean, it's tough sometimes to figure out who these landlords are. But with another technology partner of ours, Ptolemy, we've been able to start tracking that, much more aggressive on sending out those rental registration notices, more consistent on making sure that people are paid up on their rentals before doing other business with the city. It's just, there's so much information at our fingertips now, and it's very helpful for all of these things. The most fun stuff, of course, is our parks. This is Oakmont Park. We have, with the help of state grants and the American Rescue Plan, been able to put in $26 million in our parks. It's just been so incredible. This is Oakmont. I take my kids there at least once a week now that the weather is warm. There's a cool track around it, so the little kids like to ride their bikes and things. What we want, right, is destination parks for kids. We want them to want to go to all different ones across the city, and it's been really neat to live that in real time, having kids myself. So that's just a perk for me, but it's been fantastic. We have NAOG, the pool is going in, so the phase one. I'm gonna click back to that. So phase one of the NAOG pool is going in. Phase two, lap pool and the splash pad area. So that is the future look of where you see all those bulldozers right now. So the NAOG piece is coming along. Connell Park should be up and running. We had to rebuild it. So same footprint, rebuilding Connell, in addition to some cool stuff that if you're not like a biker, you wouldn't know there's a cool like bike trail there, and a dog park and all sorts of neat stuff there in Southside. This is Novembrino. This is the park that we were able to put in with the help of Friends of the Poor, and that is right next to the splash pad. And we successfully bought the lot next door, and we finally can put the parking in, which is exciting. But another great one, and I'm realizing now that kids think of these things in terms of color, like the blue and yellow park or the green and blue park. So that's been fun too, to have them be different colors so the kids know where they want to go. This is the skate park that's going to go in at Weston. That'll complement the one at Jackson Street, which is still really popular. There's the owners of Bazaar Skate Shop, which is on Adams Avenue, have been great partners on this. They continue to help us with Jackson Street, and they've helped us design this along with some high school kids and some other not so young kids that are skaters that are more my age, to make sure that we have a cool design. You see the rail tracks in the middle. So that's actually twofold. It marker to our history, acknowledging our history, but also the water goes in through there and helps it make it a resilient feature in the park. So really great stuff going on throughout the park system. We added the Pocket Park along with Leslie Collins and of course Mayor Doherty, and the sign is coming. We know the sign is coming, but we do Pocket Park live there, and that's, we'll talk about kind of our action groups in a moment. It's a great example of we started our arts council. Mayor Evans, you had one. We started one up. We've been talking about what the gaps are. We learned that the best thing for the city to do is put a little skin in the game. So in the 24 budget, we put in $10,000 for the arts. We then applied that to stand up Pocket Park Live. So at Doherty Park, we could have music during First Fridays and during some of the celebrations. So we've been able to figure out, through trial and error, how best to amplify our partnerships, amplify our different features with not too much city funding. So on our local government for all, this is truly where the fairness piece comes in for me. The biggest, I think, tool that a mayor has is the power of convening. So it's from advocacy to communication to these action groups to celebrating our community and diversity. That, to me, that's where this really starts to come through. On advocacy, last year we fought really hard against that PAWC increase. That was a team effort across all of our local and state government officials. That was successful, and that it did go down by half and resulted in PAWC having to do water quality testing. Right now, we're pushing for UGI to also have a hearing. I think there is one scheduled, or soon will be scheduled in right in Scranton, for us to be able to go and make the case that raising utility rates, we understand that costs have to go up a little bit. That's the nature of the economy, but these rate hikes at 11% and more, people truly cannot afford them. So the advocacy piece is really important. Last Tuesday, I was in DC to advocate for the tax exemption for municipal bonds. That is something that is extraordinarily important. If we end up, say, needing to raise money from the bond market to build our emergency operations center because we don't have federal funding anymore, if we don't have the tax exemption for municipal bonds, we might not be able to do that, or it's going to be more expensive for the taxpayers. So we're advocating at the local level, advocating at the federal level, making sure that we're alongside cities like ours to push for the little stuff and the big stuff, because it all matters. In terms of communication, we have tried to be as communicative as we can. We have the 311, which is email and a phone, and we run that. We're looking for more technology with that very soon, which is exciting. And then communication. So during the September 2003 flooding, we had all sorts of pop-ups throughout those flooded areas to have people come to us to get information, get resources, and we've continued to keep communicating about our stormwater plans, going to each neighborhood, having those meetings to inform the public of what we're doing, ask questions, understand new problems. There's things that our city engineer and we learn from neighbors where we didn't know a certain parcel had a problem. We can't know everything, right? So the communication goes both ways, and that's been really great. That's one of our post-storm pop-ups where you see the McDonald's sandwich. McDonald's was good enough to give us a donation. So we're, again, really proud of the communication piece, and we want to make sure that folks know that they can come to us. In terms of working together, so we have all these cool action groups. We have hunger, arts, unsheltered youth, where we work together to try to solve these issues. That's outreach at one of our job fairs. So in the spring, we have a job fair. I think it was actually located here in this building last year. Try to bring some of the kids, high school kids, in to look at internships and career paths. The arts piece is so fun. We were able to do some arts grants last year, again, helped by our arts council, so we know where some of these gaps are. This is the hunger piece, and this is so important because we are seeing massive cuts to hunger programs. It seems like every day, but there's just a huge one, $1 billion cut from the USDA budget. That's going to impact our ability to get kids fresh food. So this is from December of last year, where our hunger task force came together and, along with the Scranton Area Foundation, put in seed money so that the Food Policy Council, which is a county-wide entity, can hire somebody to help navigate these challenges. So we're really specific too about the city limits are not the whole scope of our work, right? This is all of us, all as a county, all as a region. We don't try to create artificial barriers. We need to make sure that we're all working. But the Hunger Council that we have, the task force, is really important. We didn't know going into this work a couple of years ago that we would be in a situation where we're trying to troubleshoot, $1 billion of cuts for USDA, but I feel good that we have the communication, the partnerships we do to be able to see what those gaps might be. And then if we're making asks of philanthropy, say, as these months go on, we can do it together as a united front and be very consistent in what we're asking. The festivals piece is so fun. Early on, somebody said to me, I don't see myself in the celebrations in Scranton. And I cannot take credit for the additional ones. We've just helped to foster them and helped with making sure that they can happen safely. We have La Festa, we have St. Patrick's Day Parade. We also have Latino Fiesta every August now. We have a Juneteenth Jubilee in June. We have all sorts of Indo-American festivities throughout the year. So there's lots more festivals. You can see the real diversity of Scranton through the events that you see on social media and in the newspaper and on television. So it's really cool to see these things come together. They come together organically. The same person, I said, the city doesn't fund these things. We support them with our police and our fire and our public works and our code enforcement. We certainly enable them to happen, but the funding comes privately. And these groups have kind of taken up the tradition of La Festa, taken up the tradition of the parade committee to start their own, to share their celebrations with the rest of the city. So it's cool to see the evolution of that. And lastly, on growth and investment, I think that this is kind of the most important thing for many of the folks in this room. We are seeing so much growth and investment. And you think about what you want to see. You want to see cranes. You want to see bulldozers. Nobody wants to be late to pick up their kids, but if you have to go around a bridge construction, that bridge is getting rebuilt, which is great news. So we see a lot of construction all throughout Scranton, and it's very, very cool to see. We know this through our data from almost 10,000 building permits in the last few years. That's a lot of folks doing a lot of work. That's a lot of people at work earning really good wages. That's a lot of upgrades and new builds and rehabs that are helping all over. And so you can see what kind of our viewpoint where we can track all these permits. People can go online to do these permits, and that's also a huge difference. And we're seeing all these new restaurants. I mean, it's been amazing how much investment we've had, not just in our downtown, but in all of the neighborhoods as well, right? The downtown living, Mayor Doherty, that you kickstart, that isn't just downtown. Like those rehabbed commercial spaces are in, Pine Brook now, they're in Southside, they're all over the city, they're in East Scranton. So we're seeing that uptick as well. And then you have all these new restaurants popping up downtown. So 238 new retail and dining establishments. And that shows not just our economic growth, but also our love of food here in Scranton. And then we will be doing $20 million in streetscapes. We're working through that. That's, probably most of you have heard that we're doing a much more walkable, much more safe downtown, and that includes taking those one-way thoroughfares and making them two ways, bringing down some of those stop lights that people gun through when on the yellow, bringing those down to stop signs, putting in more trees, putting in better crosswalks, making it just a much more livable city. On top of what I always am told is a gem, right? People don't understand. They don't realize the first time they came to Scranton what a great place it is. The downtown is so beautiful. And I say, well, it's just going to get more beautiful. So that piece is going to be really exciting. So I apologize in advance for any of the intrusions on your commute, but it's going to be worth it. And we see these type of markers about being a great place to move to. We heard the story of the couple that moved their family here based on their analysis. I say that I put this one up here because I think it's important to show our growth pattern and the excitement around Scranton. I pause though because housing is not cheap for everyone at all. It's actually a growing crisis. And so I always have mixed feelings talking about these types of accolades that we might see pop up on realtor.com or some of these. So that's part of our challenge, right? And that's part of the fairness piece. That's part of the consistency. That's part of how we have to navigate the future, is making sure that we're growing together and not growing kind of in one way while on the backs of people who can't afford to live here or live in what might be a future Scranton. So we'll try to continue to take cues from cities and what they've done that's worked, what they've done that has not worked, and we'll continue to have those partnerships across our networks to make sure that we're doing our best so that this is a good thing and not a negative thing for either the folks that live here or the people that want to move here. Part of the investment, University of Scranton put that building up so quickly. It's amazing, but huge investments here. So when people talk about our economy, I mean, you can see the amount of investment, $5.8 billion in Scranton in 2024. That's a lot of money coming in. That's new housing projects. That's new buildings on not just the University of Scranton's campus. Lackawanna College is building. Johnson College built a new building. We have so much that's going on right here in Scranton. People want to be here. They want to put their money here. Somebody said the other day that, Jamie Dimon's a smart guy and he put a Chase branch downtown. I said, that's absolutely right. He is a smart guy and there's a Chase downtown. So some of these markers are really important. Chili's is back in Dixon City. This is great. So, I mean, that's the most exciting thing, I think, right? We'll do the next one at Chili's. But people really are investing, and when they invest in a city, right? Whether you're business, whether you're an academic institution, whether you're any sort of sector, you've done your research, and you're doing that because you have confidence in the future of that place. We continue to push for Amtrak. We continue to look toward the future of what that connectivity with New York City would do for our economy. It is crucial that we keep pushing for it. We can never think that it absolutely going to happen because there's a long way to go, but we really have to keep pushing for it. We have to keep advocating, and that's advocating at the national level, at the federal level, that's advocating at the state level, advocating with our neighbors in New Jersey. Even as the ground might shift politically, we've got to keep going on that. And lastly on this piece, the City Hall project is so important to me, to us in our senior leadership team. It is the culmination of 1,000 things going right, mostly Tom Molesky making sure things go right. So thank you, Tom. It means so much because it tells the story of building on the past, right? Dave Bolzoni put in that first grant, the RACP, that we were used to anchor for another RACP. So Wolf administration, Shapiro administration, both helping. President Biden's rescue plan was the kicker. We would not be able to do this project if we didn't have the rescue plan. Our city council supported it, our state reps supported it, the commissioners are on board. Everyone had to come together to make sure that we preserve this building and make sure that our 1888 building is preserved and celebrated and is something that we can not only be proud of, but not a place where pigeons get in and get in the way of the law department's work, because that was happening on a daily basis. Excuse me, Jessica, I'm remiss. And the law department the pigeons wanted in because you guys are so successful. We have had incredible legal defense and been able to get to a point where we have proactive legal strategies, which is so important for any entity, but especially government and a local government. So thank you. All right. I think that's the last one. I think that's the last slide. But I could just look at it all day. Is that weird? I realized why I like this so much. So we don't put our kids on social media. So I think I have this pent up desire to show off like a thing. And so instead of my adorable children, I'm showing off Scranton City Hall. But it truly is an honor to be able to address you all and to do this work alongside you. We really love our work, as hard as it can be sometimes. So looking forward to this, these next days and weeks and months and years with you all to make sure we keep making lots of progress. So thank you very much.